Two United States lawmakers have made a bipartisan appeal to President Joe Biden to allow Poland to shoot down Russian missiles over the skies of Ukraine and Poland, of course, the Hill media reported. Republican Joe Wilson and Stevie Cohen, the chair and ranking member, respectively, of the U.S. Helsinki Commission, made the call in a letter seen by the news outlet.
Despite Russia's continued escalation through hybrid warfare, airspace violations, attacks on critical infrastructure and efforts to destabilize democratic institutions, we have hesitated to confront these threats decisively. We are allowing Russia to wage a war against the alliance with minimal consequences. From a joint appeal of U.S. Helsinki Commission Chair Joe Wilson and Commission's ranking member state Steve Cohen.
It was initially Poland's request, by the way, and in this context, American lawmakers say that such Poland's request to intercept and neutralize missiles over Ukraine is both necessary and urgent as a support mechanism for Ukraine and a safeguard to the front line of NATO's borders. The possibility of Warsaw downing Russian missiles heading toward Poland through Ukraine was laid out in June in a signed Polish-Ukrainian security agreement, while Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski said at the time that the matter was still under discussion. Defense Minister Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz explained that a decision by all of NATO's member states would be necessary to take such a step. The NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg opposed the move, insisting the alliance will not be involved in this conflict. So Poles are actually watching every missile that flies over their heads and do not down it while they can do it safely without debris falling on their heads. There are ways and capabilities to do that, trust me on that, but they watch these missiles knowing that in a minute it will kill a child in Kharkiv or Kyiv or another Ukrainian city, and no, they cannot down it as NATO fears escalations. Stoltenberg's successor, Mark Rutte, has yet to address the topic publicly. Sikorski revisited the issue in September when he said he was in favor of shooting down Russian missiles in Poland, even warning of a potential nuclear disaster. Rutte said, and that is what Stoltenberg should have learned, actually, Poland has the legal right to down stray Russian missiles and drones that enter Polish airspace without asking Stoltenberg or NATO or Putin or the Pope or anyone at all for that matters.
Russia can no longer dictate to us how we defend our own country. We have both a constitution and are recognized in international law to defend our airspace. Radosław Sikorski, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Poland.
He warned that a Russian missile could hit a Ukrainian nuclear power plant, for example in Zaporizhia. The reference is obvious and clear: Chernobyl disaster of 1986 that leaked radiation across Ukraine and Belarus. A similar nuclear disaster could also impact Poland. I think we should help Ukraine to protect its nuclear power plants against such stray Russian missiles, Sikorski said. You know, to fear escalation amidst a war that you did not start is the most brutal, cowardly, stupid and perverted lie I've ever heard of. Paradoxically, in the end, it will be exactly these lies that eventually will force NATO to step into the battlefields of this criminal Russian war of aggression against Ukraine that Stoltenberg timidly calls a conflict. As while NATO fears escalation and fails to find unity in an obvious necessity to stand for values it proclaims so loudly, Russian dictator Vladimir Putin is the one who escalates. He doesn't care. He needs no unity. He is a dictator. He just escalates like that. And West accepts it today, literally allowing Putin to escalate even more tomorrow. West not only does nothing about it, it is not allowing others to defend themselves, like Poland in this case. And even moreover, West is selling components to these very Russian missiles that fly over Poland to kill us in Ukraine every single goddamn day. NATO is timidly watching Russian missiles with their components inside and helps Putin kill people in Ukraine. Simple as that. That is a fact. And when Stoltenberg or Olaf Scholz or anyone talks about fears of escalation, remember one thing: the easiest way to avoid an escalation in a war is to lose it. Let us all hope that Mark Rutte understands that well.